My name is Adam. I'm 34 years old, and I've always believed in love, loyalty, and marriage. I work as a technician at a small company. My life was simple, but I liked it that way. I had a house, a good job, and a wife I thought I would grow old with. Her name is Lisa. We met at a friend's party almost 10 years ago. She was fun, beautiful, and full of energy. I fell for her the moment I saw her laugh. After 2 years of dating, we got married. I thought I was the luckiest man alive. For the first few years, everything was good. We spent weekends together, went on small trips, and supported each other through life's ups and downs. I trusted her completely. I never thought she would hurt me. But things started to change about a year ago. Lisa got a new job in marketing, and with that came a new group of friends. She started going out more, staying out late, and spending less time at home. I asked her if something was wrong, but she always said, "I'm just busy, that's all." I believed her. I wanted her to be happy, so I didn't complain. I stayed home, cooked dinner, and waited for her, even if she came back late. I thought it was just a phase. I thought she would come back to me once things settled down. But I was wrong. She started acting cold. We stopped talking like we used to. She was always on her phone, smiling at messages I couldn't see. I still didn't want to believe anything bad. I told myself I had to be patient. That's what love is, right? You wait. You forgive. Then one evening, she sat me down and said something I never expected. "I've been thinking," she said, not even looking at me. "I want to try an open marriage." I didn't know what to say. I had heard of open marriages before, but I never thought it would be something we would do. I asked her why. "I just want to explore. I need freedom. We're still young," she said, like it was nothing. I felt like someone had punched me in the chest, but I loved her so much. I didn't want to lose her. So, like a fool, I agreed. I didn't know it then, but that was the day my heart started to break. After Lisa asked for an open marriage, I couldn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering how things had gone so wrong. The woman who once told me I was her whole world now wanted to be with other people, and I had said yes. Why did I say yes? Maybe because I was scared. Scared of losing her. Scared of being alone. I thought if I agreed, she would see how much I loved her. Maybe she would come back to me once she realized what we had. But things didn't happen that way. Just a few days later, she went out with someone. She told me it was just a date, and that we agreed to this. I nodded and smiled like it didn't hurt, but inside, I was falling apart. She started going on more dates, once a week, then twice. Sometimes she didn't come home until morning. She stopped kissing me goodnight. She stopped asking how my day was. Slowly, I became invisible. I tried to stay strong. I focused on work, kept the house clean, and made dinner. I even asked her how her dates were, trying to act like I was okay. She always said the same thing. It was fun, or he's just a friend. But I could see the excitement in her eyes. It wasn't just friendship. Weeks turned into months. My wife was living like a single woman, while I stayed at home, heartbroken and confused. I never went on a date myself. I didn't want to. I only wanted her. One evening, I found her phone left on the table while she was in the shower. I never looked at her phone before. I believed in trust. But that day, something inside me broke. I picked it up. What I saw made my hand shake. There were messages from another man, someone she had been seeing for a while. The texts were not just flirty. They were full of love, passion, and secrets. One message said, "I can't wait until you leave him." Another said, "He has no idea, does he?" I felt sick. She wasn't just exploring like she told me. She was planning to replace me. She had already emotionally moved on, and I was just a fool waiting for her to love me again. When she came out of the shower, I was sitting on the couch, phone in hand. She looked at me and froze. "You read my messages?" she asked, not angry, just surprised. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I just said, "How long have you been cheating on me?" She sat down slowly and looked at the floor. Before I asked for the open marriage, she admitted. It felt like the air had left the room. My chest hurt. I couldn't believe it. She had lied. She had already betrayed me, and then made it seem like my idea to open a marriage, just to make herself feel better. You used me, I said quietly. You made me think I was a problem. She shrugged. I didn't mean to hurt you. I needed more. More. That's all she said. Not sorry, not regret, just that she needed more. That night, I didn't sleep in our bed. I went to the guest room. I lay there in the dark and realized something very important. She thought I would never leave. She thought I would always be there, no matter how badly she treated me. And for a while, she was right. But something changed in me that night. I was done being weak. I was done being the backup plan. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do yet, but one thing was clear. This wasn't the end of my story. It was just the beginning. After I found out Lisa had been cheating on me before she asked for an open marriage, something inside me shut down. I no longer felt sad. I didn't cry anymore. I didn't beg her to stop. I didn't ask where she was going or when she'd be home. In fact, I barely spoke to her at all. I became quiet, calm, cold. She noticed a change. One morning, while drinking her coffee, she said, "You've been different lately." I simply replied, "I know." She waited for me to say more, but I didn't. I went to work and carried on with my day. For the first time in years, I stopped worrying about her. I started thinking about myself. I looked in the mirror and didn't like what I saw. I looked tired, pale, and broken. My body was weak, my eyes empty. I had given everything to Lisa, my time, my love, my loyalty, and she had thrown it away. That was the moment I decided to take my life back. I joined a gym. At first, I didn't know what I was doing, but I kept showing up. I watched videos, followed advice, and slowly began to feel stronger. I cut out junk food, started eating clean, and drank more water. Within a month, I had more energy. I stood taller. My face looked sharper. I even smiled again, something I hadn't done in months. But it wasn't just about my body. I worked on my mind too. I started reading books, listening to podcasts, and writing in a journal. I wrote about how I felt, what I wanted, and who I wanted to become. I wrote down one sentence again and again. She thought I'd never leave, but I will. I began spending less time at home. I made new friends at the gym. I went out for walks, coffee, and even tried some hobbies I had forgotten I loved, like painting and photography. People noticed the change. Even Lisa noticed. One evening, as I was getting ready to go out, she asked, "Are you seeing someone?" I looked at her and smiled slightly. "Does it matter?" She looked hurt. "I just want to know." I didn't answer. I grabbed my jacket and left. I wasn't seeing anyone seriously yet, but I had started talking to someone, Emma. I met her at the gym. She was kind, smart, and respectful. We started with small talk, then longer conversations. Eventually, coffee after workouts. She knew I was married but separated, and she respected my space. Emma never pushed me. She just listened. She asked about my life, my dreams, and what I wanted for the future. I felt safe with her. Not pressured. Not judged. For the first time in a long while, I felt seen. Meanwhile, Lisa's freedom didn't seem so exciting anymore. Her smile started to fade. Her phone stayed face up on the table, as if she wanted me to see there was nothing interesting there. The men she had dated had lost interest. The one she had fallen for, he stopped replying. I watched her crumble slowly. One night, I came home and found her sitting on the couch, staring at old photos of us on her phone. She looked up at me with teary eyes. "I miss you," she whispered. I didn't say anything. "Adam, I messed up," she continued. "I was stupid. I thought I wanted something else, but I just lost the best thing I ever had." I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I just looked at her and said, "You didn't lose me. You gave me away." She begged. She said she would change, that she was ready to be a good wife again. She asked if we could start over, but I had already made up my mind. "I'm not angry anymore, Lisa," I said calmly, "but I'm not the same man you hurt. The man who waited around while you played with his heart, he's gone." She broke down crying. I let her cry. I felt sorry for her, but not enough to go back. That night, I slept peacefully for the first time in months. This wasn't just a breakup. It was a breakthrough. I had reached my breaking point, yes, but I hadn't broken. I had woken up. It had been a few weeks since our dinner, the last real conversation I had with Lisa. After that night, I finally felt free. There were no more questions in my head, no more what-ifs. I had given her every chance. I had stayed longer than I should have, and now I was done. But Lisa wasn't. One afternoon, I came home from work and found her waiting outside my apartment building. She looked nervous, like she wasn't sure she should even be there. "Adam," she said when she saw me, "please, I just need 5 minutes." I could have walked away. I should have. But something told me I needed to end this properly, to give her and myself full closure. I nodded and led her to the small park across the street. It was quiet, with a few trees and benches. We sat down, and for a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she finally said, "I just don't understand how you changed so much, so fast." I looked at her calmly. Because I had to. If I didn't, I would have stayed the same man you walked all over. Her eyes filled with tears. "You weren't boring, Adam. I was. I was chasing excitement because I was unhappy with myself, not with you. And instead of fixing myself, I ruined the only good thing I had." I nodded slowly. "I know." She looked up, surprised. "You know?" "I've had a lot of time to think," I said, "and I realize you were lost. But I also realize that it's not my job to fix someone who doesn't value me." She reached for my hand, but I gently moved it away. "I'm not saying this to hurt you, Lisa. I'm saying it because I'm finally at peace. I loved you deeply, and maybe I always will in some small way, but I love myself more now. And I can't go back to someone who broke me and only wanted me again after I picked myself up." She was crying now, quietly. "I know I hurt you," she said through tears, "and I know I don't deserve you back. But just tell me this, was any of it real? The love, the years we had." I looked at her, and for the first time, I felt no anger, no pain, just honesty. "Yes," I said, "it was real, at least for me. I gave you everything I had. I would have walked through fire for you. And maybe that's why it hurt so much when you didn't even notice." She covered her face with her hands. "I was selfish. I thought you'd never leave, and I took advantage of that." "I know," I said, "but the worst part isn't that you left me emotionally. It's that you made me feel like I wasn't enough, like being loyal and loving wasn't exciting enough for you." She looked at me again, and I could see regret all over her face. Deep, heavy regret. "So, this is really goodbye?" she asked. I nodded. "Yes, I've forgiven you, but I can't forget how you made me feel. And I won't risk going through that again. I deserve someone who chooses me fully, and so, do you." She was quiet for a moment, then stood up slowly. I hope you're truly happy, Adam." "I am," I said softly. "And I hope someday you will be too. Just not with me." She walked away without saying another word. And just like that, the chapter closed. After Lisa left the park, I sat there for a while. The wind was cool, and the sky was turning gold with the sunset. I wasn't sad. I wasn't broken. I felt light, like I had finally put down a heavy weight I had been carrying for years. Emma called me later that evening. We talked about our day, shared a few jokes, and made plans for the weekend. She didn't ask about Lisa, and I didn't bring it up. That part of my life was over. With Emma, I was building something new, slowly, carefully, with respect at the center. No games, no secrets, just two people choosing each other every day. People often ask what closure really is. Some say it's a final talk or a letter or an apology. For me, closure was something different. It was finally understanding that I could survive heartbreak, that I could lose someone I once thought I couldn't live without, and still be okay. Closure was knowing that I didn't need revenge in the form of pain. I didn't need to make Lisa suffer. The best revenge? Walking away without looking back. The real win? Becoming the version of myself she never believed I could be. That's the kind of closure that lasts forever. It's been almost a year since I walked away from Lisa for the last time. My life now is peaceful, simple, and full of purpose. I wake up every day without that heavy feeling in my chest. I go to the gym, work hard at my job, and spend time with people who truly care about me. My heart isn't full of anger or pain anymore, just calm. Emma and I are still seeing each other. We're taking it slow, but it's healthy, honest, easy, whether or not it becomes something permanent. I know now what a real connection should feel like: mutual respect and trust. Sometimes I still think about Lisa, not because I miss her, but because of how much I've grown since then. She was a person who broke me, but also the reason I rebuilt myself. In a strange way, I'm thankful. She gave me the final push I needed to stop living for someone else and start living for me. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's this: you can love someone with all your heart, but if they don't value you, walk away. Don't stay hoping they'll change. Don't shrink yourself to make them comfortable. And never let someone make you feel like you're not enough. Because sometimes the best revenge is becoming the person they'll never have again.